Jack and the Beanstalk, illustrated by Ivana Svabik-Cannon. There was once a poor widow who had an only son called Jack. He was so lazy, he never did any work, and as time went by, they became poorer and poorer. One fine summer's day, Jack's mother decided to send him to the market to sell their cow. It was all they had left in the world, and even she no longer gave them milk. Jack had not gone very far when he met an old man. "Where are you going with that cow, young man?" said he. "I am going to the market to sell her," Jack replied. "Well, this is your lucky day," said the old man, "for I will gladly take her off your hands in exchange for these 5 magic beans. If you plant them, they will grow as high as the sky by tomorrow morning." Jack thought this was a fair exchange, as it meant he could go home right away and spend the rest of the day lazing in the sun. "Look, mother," he cried as he ran into the house, "I have sold our cow for these amazing beans." "You are stupid as well as lazy," she said, as she snatched the beans from his hand and threw them out of the window. Then she sent him to bed without any supper. Jack slept until late the next morning, and when he woke, he was not sure where he was. His room was dark, and when he opened the curtains, he saw huge leaves and red flowers covering his window. He dressed himself quickly and ran downstairs and into the garden. Jack could not believe what he saw. Just outside the window, where his mother had thrown the magic beans, there grew a mighty beanstalk, reaching towards the sky, so that the top of it was hidden in the clouds. Without wasting a second, Jack began to climb. He climbed higher than the treetops, higher than the clouds, until he reached the blue sky and stepped out onto a long, straight white road. Jack was very hungry by this time, so he followed the road, hoping to find a place where he could beg for some breakfast. To his delight, he came to a castle with a very large woman standing at the door. "Good morning," he said politely. "Would you be so kind as to give me some breakfast?" "I think you had better run away as fast as you can," said the woman, "unless you want to become a breakfast yourself. My husband is an ogre, who loves nothing better than fried little boys on toast for his breakfast." Jack was too hungry to run back along the road, so he pleaded with the woman to give him something to eat. "You can hide me from your husband when he comes," said Jack. Now the ogre's wife was a kind woman, and she took Jack in and gave him some bread and milk. He had only just finished eating when, thump, 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 he heard the ogre walking down the road. The woman grabbed Jack and hid him in the oven. The ogre came into the kitchen and roared at the top of his voice, "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." "Nonsense," said the wife. "You are always saying you can smell Englishmen. Now sit down and have your breakfast." Jack peeped out of his hiding place and was terrified to see what a huge, ugly monster he was. The table was piled high with food, and the ogre ate all of it. Then he called to his wife, "Bring me my bags of gold." She cleared the table and put the gold in front of him. There he sat, counting and counting the coins until his eyelids began to droop, and his head nodded slowly down and rested on the table. He fell fast asleep, snoring so loudly that people on the earth below thought they heard a thunderstorm. When Jack peeped out and saw all that gold, he knew this was his big chance. He crept out of the oven, and as he passed the sleeping ogre, Jack reached up and grabbed one of the bags of gold. He ran away from the castle and down the straight white road as fast as his legs could carry him, back to the top of the beanstalk. He climbed down through the green leaves until he reached his own little garden again. "Mother, look what I have brought you from the top of the beanstalk," Jack cried as he emptied the bag of gold coins onto the kitchen table. The poor widow was pleased to have her son home again, and now they had money to buy all they needed. One day, Jack took out the bag and saw that there was not much gold left, so he decided to climb the beanstalk again. He disguised himself so that the woman would not recognize him, and once again she let him in and gave him some food. The ogre returned to the castle, in the evening, and Jack hid in a huge copper pot. Then he called to his wife to bring him his gold hen. The wife brought the hen and placed it on the table. "Lay," roared the ogre, and the hen laid an egg of solid gold. "Lay another," and the hen laid an even larger golden egg. When Jack saw the golden eggs, his eyes popped out of his head. Soon the ogre fell asleep at the table, and when Jack was sure that no one else was about, he climbed out of the copper pot and grabbed the ogre's hen. The hen started to squawk as Jack ran towards the door, and the ogre woke up. A few seconds passed before he realized that the hen was not on the table, and when he looked out of the window, he saw Jack with his prized bird under his arm, running for all he was worth along the straight white road. The ogre chased after Jack with huge strides. The people in the world below thought that they could hear an earthquake. Even though Jack was running faster than he had ever run in his life, the ogre was almost upon him when Jack reached the beanstalk. Just as the ogre reached out his hand to grab Jack and retrieve his precious hen, Jack slipped nimbly down the beanstalk. The ogre paused for a few moments, wondering if this strange plant would carry his weight. Then he began to climb slowly down after Jack. The beanstalk began to sway and creak, and Jack, realizing the ogre was following, went even faster. When Jack reached his garden, he called out, "Quick, quick, get me an axe, mother." He seized the axe, handed her the golden hen, and began to chop at the mighty beanstalk. It swayed and creaked, and then it fell with a tremendous crash. The ogre lay dead under the leaves. Jack and his mother lived happily all their lives with the golden hen that brought them more riches than they knew how to spend.